Okay, so I'm hoping I see a live video. Oh, yay! It looks like we're doing okay. Oh, how exciting. Okay, so if you are joining us on Facebook, please do say hello. I'm so excited. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me okay too. But we have that red live button. So yay, very excited. So my name is Chantel Figueroa. I want to welcome you to the Crazy Mom Craft a Lot page, group, or channel, wherever you happen to be watching from. Today is our premiere Create With Me live event. I'm so excited for you guys to be joining me. And if you're on Facebook, please do leave a comment, say hello, let me know you're there. And let's get started. Sorry. Okay, so I have all these lights going on, so it's messing me up a little bit here. Today, we are going to be making this gorgeous card. The items from this card are featured in the upcoming catalog that will be released January 5th. Yay! So excited, you guys. I can't show you the inside of the catalog, not until January 5th, so 4 days and counting down. But I will tell you some more about this fun product suite that we use today. It is from the Flowering Practice product medley, and it has this gorgeous stamp set. And it also has coordinating dies. I love it, love it, love it. And we're going to get into creating this card. So to get started, if you would like to participate in the future with us in this fun event, you can hop on over to my newsletter on the crazymomcraftsalot.com website. Click on Let's Connect and Newsletter, and one of the options there is the Create With Me event. So when you click on that, I will send you an email with a supply list each week that gives you the measurements to the card that I'm working on. Now, obviously, if you're crafting at home and you're not a demonstrator, you would not have access to these products quite yet. However, the dimensions are there so that you can use the items that you already have at home. So to get started, I'm going to bring some of those items in. And what I started with was a 4¼ inch by 11-inch card base. And I'm going to show you guys a little sneak peek of some of this paper. It's so awesome. So the paper, and I've already, you guys, I can't believe this. I've had this suite for like, I don't know, a week, and I've already blown through almost all the paper. So I'm going to have to get more. It's so stinking gorgeous. So you can see I've already cut through a lot of these papers, but look at these papers. They are stunning, and you can't see as well. I've tried to get my lighting as best as possible, but really you have to see this paper in person. So I'll just flip through some of these papers real quick so you get an idea of what we're working with today. Getting it all caught up here. So there's some of this paper here. The back of this is what I'm actually going to use for our envelope. And I will show you guys how to do that here towards the end. We have this luscious cactus paper. And some of the colors that are in here are mint macaron, mossy meadow, pear pizzazz, mint macaron. Did I say that one already? I love it that much. Calypso coral, and look at this gorgeous Highland heather. So these are just some of the papers that you can choose from if you wanted to go back and recreate this card. But today, what I'm going to do is start with, I've already cut my cardstock down. So I have right now a 4" by 5¼ piece. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get a ruler. And you can measure on the front if you want, or you can measure on the back side. It's completely up to you. Hold on just a second, you guys. My camera was going goofy. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see. There we go. Okay, so you can measure on the front or on the back. I'm going to go ahead and just measure on the front. And I'm going to measure at 2 6/8 of an inch. So that's 2. We've got 1/8, 2/8, 3, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8. Oop, and then I moved it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut in to my cards or into my designer series paper. And I know you guys can't see probably that little tick mark, but it's there, I promise you. So I just put a little mark there, and I can go back afterwards with an eraser if necessary to erase it. But what I'm going to do is line it up in my paper trimmer. You know what, I'm going to go this way instead. And the reason why I'm going to put the tick mark up at the top here is I'm going to follow the trimmer line. And I'm not sure if you guys can see that, probably not in the lighting here. Sorry about that, you guys. But my trimmer counts towards me. So it's 1 inch, 2 inches, and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and cut in about 1 3/4 of an inch. And basically, I'm just kind of putting a little slit in the paper to start with, if that makes sense. Okay, get the trimmer out of the way here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold my designer series paper back a bit. And I'm going to fold it in such a manner that I leave about 1/2 of an inch here. Now, if you want to fold it back even further than that, feel free to do so. You are more than welcome to fold it however you want. You know, you're going to get a different look the further back you fold it. But when I designed this card, I had it so then it went back about like that. And don't fret if it's not exactly the way you want it. Okay, you can totally adjust it later. It's not life or death, I promise. I try to remind you guys every time this is just paper. No big deal. That was my echo on Facebook, sorry. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to kind of line it up and get a feel for how this is looking. And I'm totally loving this already. You get both sides of the designer paper you get to see. And that's why I love this card template so much. So for now, I'm going to set that to the side. The next thing I'm going to do is I've already pre-die cut some of my pieces just to save a little bit of time. So this oval comes from the Stitched Labels die set in the current annual catalog. I love, love, love these dies because you can see the stitching detail. It's so cute and it really changes the look of a card. So I've already pre-die cut one of those out for us today. But I am going to bring in my little cute mini machine. I love it. I'm going to bring that in. And when I get my stamps in, okay, this is my personal preference for storage. Everybody does their own thing. But what I do is the dies are going to come in a little package like this. I take the dies off the cardboard insert. I get rid of the cardboard insert. And what I do is I attach a little magnet to the inside of my stamp cases. And that allows me to keep my dies together with my stamp set. And then I also in pen write how many dies are supposed to be in here. And that way, before I close up for the day, I know that I have everything that I'm supposed to have. Then what I do is I use the envelope that it came with. And when I sit and I die cut a whole bunch of items, I pop those in here. So that way I can keep the stamps, the dies, and then a whole bunch of ready-made images ready to go. But today I wanted to show you how this cute little die cut machine works. If you haven't seen it already, And I know I have a couple different videos on it, but I thought I would show you again. I love this new die cutting machine. And you can actually get this during celebration. It's less than $99, but if you chose to join my team during celebration, you would pay $99 and you get to pick $125 worth of items. So that's $25 for free. Plus you get a paper pumpkin kit for free, and I'll tell you about that later. And on top of that, you also get, it's about $50 worth of designer series paper for free during celebration, and that starts January 5th. You guys, it ends up being almost $100 in free product. It's incredible. So you can add the little machine, the mini die cut machine, into that $99 or $125 rather of product if you wanted to. So to start with this machine, I'm going to use the number 1 die, and it tells me place die cutting edge down. It shows me I'm going to use 2 number 2 plates and a number 1 plate, and it tells me right here, use with thin dies. So that's what we're doing. So I've got plate number 1, plate number 2, a piece of cardstock, my cute little cactus, and then my second plate, which you could line them up. You know, if you want to line them up perfectly, you could do that. I'm not terribly inclined, to be honest. I've been die cutting for days, but you can if you want to. So there we go. And then what I choose to do is I hold the top handle and I just crank it through. Sorry, I'll try to not shake too much. We'll do it a little slower so it's not shaking the camera too badly. It is going to pop and crack when it comes out the end a little bit. I don't know if you heard that. That's normal, not a problem. And you guys, oh my gosh, I love this. Look, here, I'll put it on this side. Look at how stinking cute that die cut is. Can you guys see all the dimension? Those are little cuts in the die cut. It's not just this background image. It's all that detail in there. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. If you have been a long-time paper crafter, you know we did not used to get that kind of detail in our dies. The dies were cool. The dies were cute. They were kind of, you know, a more plain shape. But to get the kind of detail that we get in dies today, it really is incredible. So I'm going to scooch that off to the side. I'm going to pop this back in my case because it may grow legs and walk away. And one of the things, little tricks today I wanted to show you guys was, oh, I just dumped it all on the floor. Oops. Well, it was a container full of these sponge daubers. That's what you get when you go live, folks. A container full of sponge daubers. Now I have an entire floor full of sponge daubers. Let's see if I can grab the color that I'm looking for. Wow, you know, that's just how things go. All right, let's see. Fortunately, I can see the 3 colors that I was going to work with. I literally have a floor full of these now. Okay. I wanted to show you guys how to add some dimension to your die cuts. One way you can add a bit of dimension is with some ink and a sponge dauber. So I am going to grab the old olive ink pad and the dauber that I just threw on the floor. Now it has a couple fuzzies from the carpet on it, so hold on 1 second. Okay, I'm gonna pop that bad boy on my finger and just tap, tap, tap and ink up a little bit. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna start off the paper. You don't want to go directly on the paper because what'll happen is you'll get the majority of the ink that just went on your dauber. It's gonna kind of stick in one spot, and we don't want that. We want it to blend nicely across. And you know what? Instead of my good cardstock, I'm going to pull in this paper here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of start off to the side And then I'm just going to work my way up the cactus. And already, can you guys see? Hopefully you can see that in the light a bit. The dimension in that die cut. It's just awesome. It's so pretty. It gives it a little bit shading to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to work it back up the other side as well. Again, I'm going to start to the off the side of my die. And I'm going to work it up the top. And what I'm creating here is kind of the impression that there's a highlight from the sun. It's almost as if the light is hitting the cactus here in the center, and it's creating that shadow effect on the outside. So that is super, super awesome to get a little bit more dimension with your die cuts when you're working with those. Okay, so I've got that together. I've got this together. I've got a floor full of daubers. All right, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to grab all right, guys, you can only prepare for so much when you're live. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my Stampin' Seal. I'm going to throw a little adhesive on the back here. Because what I want to do is I'm going to add some twine. Just add a little bit more dimension. This is what I'm talking about here, this little bit of twine. And this does come in the product medley kit. It's super cute. It's in the Calypso Coral color, which I love. This is how it comes. And what I'm going to do is kind of string it around. So I'm going to put quite a bit of adhesive on the back because I really am not sure where I'm going to have it grab. So the more adhesive I have on the back, it allows me to be a little bit more flexible and creative with it. So I think I'm going to kind of form a little bit of a circle here. And then I'll form another circle, a little bit bigger. And I'm going to come to the opposite side then and form one more circle about like that. So what we're creating when we do this is we're creating a little bit of a balance. We want things to balance the top side down from the bottom side. So if we've got a bunch of stuff up here on the left, we want to balance it with something down here on the right. So that's why I do it with 3 like that. I can go ahead and clip that off now. It is super sticky, which is good. We want stick. Okay. So I've got this piece ready. I've got my cactus piece ready. What I will go ahead and do now is adhere the back, put some adhesive on the back of my designer series paper. I just wanted to check here and see what comments we were having. There we go. Now I can see your comments. Kathy said, filling the daubers proves that you are a human. Thank you, Kathy. I am indeed. My floor certainly gives evidence of that point. Okay, so I'm putting some adhesive on the back side, but I want to go down. And then this is a trick I've kind of taught you guys throughout the years, but whenever I'm putting something that kind of is tricky to line up, what I do is I like to line things up on 3 sides. So I'll line it up the side, you know, technically this is going to be the bottom and the top, but for the moment, I'm going to turn it sideways and line it up this way. And what I have found through the years is when I line the designer series paper or a layer up on 3 sides, typically I can get it just about, I won't say perfect, but even every time. So you can see that it's got a nice even border around it. Now you have some choices here. You can pop your card up if you like with some dimensionals. And part of why I want to do this is because I want to be able to pop up the cactus piece later, and that's going to give it a little bit more support under here. So I am going to go ahead and pop a dimensional just on the back sides here. You can go ahead now and fold those down. I'll take the adhesive protective covers off, fold those down. If I can get it. Okay, moving along here. If I don't throw anything else on the floor. What I wanted to show you guys, this little cactus piece came from this paper. Stampin' Up is so brilliant, and they gave us pre-printed paper that all you have to do is take your die set and pop it right over top and die cut it out. This is brilliant for so many reasons. A, I love to stamp the items myself. However, on occasion, if I'm having a rough day or if I have to make a card in a hurry, it's so amazingly nice to have paper already printed. All I have to do is die cut it out and it's ready to go. Plus, it also gives me other inspiration for colors and for designs. So I have already gone ahead and die cut out one of those pieces just to save time today. So I have that baby ready to go there. And then I've die cut already a couple of these flowers in Calypso Coral, but I thought I could show you anyway how they're done. So I have my Calypso Coral ink pad. I'm going to scoot all this off to the side for the moment so I don't stick anything in it. And I have, or had, oh, here it is, a little piece of cardstock. I'm gonna do something really funny here in a second, you guys. And I wanted to show you two. I'm going to use these two flowers. So I'll grab those two off. If this is your first time getting a stamp set in and using it, you want to take your finger and rub over top of it, or take a white eraser, a white polymer eraser over top of it and rub, because there's going to be some manufacturing residue. Okay, you guys, I don't have a block, a clear block in front of me. So I improvise. This is how we do around here. I'm going to use my die cutting plate. Ah, if you hadn't thought about that, now you got a new trick up your sleeve. I'm just going to use my die cutting plate as a block. And I will stamp down with that, nice and flat. Pop it up, and there you go. So if you're missing, if you're missing a clear block, or you don't have one in front of you, have your die cutting plate. It works well. There's your cool little tip for today. I'm going to put these back real quick before I lose them. And I'm going to grab our two little dies and run those through the die cutting machine once again, since I have it here conveniently. I'm also going to move my ink out of the way. All right, and once again, we're going to use plate number 1 and 2, plate number 2s. Now, when I work with my die cutting plates, I keep one plate always to be the base plate that I cut on, and I keep one plate always to be the top plate. And the reason for doing this is it helps extend the wear of your dies, so that when you've used this plate up completely, you can flip it over, After that, what you can do is you would begin to use this plate and go ahead and purchase new plates, and you'd put a new one in rotation for the top. Now, some of you may have wondered what this is on the top, and if you didn't, now you can wonder what it's there for. This is a piece of I think it's called micropore tape. And this is tape that they actually use in the medical facilities. I bought a huge box of it a couple years ago, and I'm still working off of the same tape. So I haven't bought anything new because I know they need that for, COVID right now. And forgive my head if it's in the way. But what I do is just get a piece of micropore. And sometimes when I'm working with smaller dies or dies that are more fiddly, I go ahead and pop that micropore tape over top because it doesn't tear your paper. It doesn't have the same stick that maybe other tapes do, so it won't tear your paper up when you go to remove it. So we'll get that out of the way. And so I slowly pull this back at about a 45-degree angle. And you still need to be a little gentle with it, but it's nothing like what other tapes can do. Other tapes will totally destroy the beautiful images you've just worked with or just inked up. And then I just keep that same piece. I'll use it several times, and I just keep that same piece right there on the top of my handle. Okay, so I've got our two super cute flowers, and look how perfectly lined up those are. I love when you use that micropore tape, and it'll also keep your dies from shifting. So that's a great way to make sure they stay lined up. Back to our card. I'm going to go ahead and take our shape with the fun ribbon or twine on it, and I'm going to line that up kind of where I want it to be. I think I want it to be more towards the top. I'm pretty happy with that there. So I'm going to go ahead and press that down. And then our twine is just going to kind of hang out. And that's okay because it'll move when you put it in the envelope. It's not going to be a problem. It won't be in the way. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and adhere the die cut image that we created a little bit ago. And I'm going to adhere that a little bit more to the left so that it's not completely hidden. And I'm going to use a pair of, oh man, I'm throwing everything today, you guys. I tell you what. My Crafty tweezers and a dot of liquid glue just to make that easier to adhere. I'm going to pop that die on. The next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and add dimensionals, and I'm going to actually put them directly on my card underneath where I want the cactus to go. And the reason why I do that is because if I put it directly on the cactus die and then I'm trying to like line it up here, I may be fighting with the dimensionals underneath here that we had applied earlier, and I don't want to do that. And you know what? I think this is higher than I want it, so I'm going to gently peel that back. Normally I can pull those up super easy. Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe not today. I'll just shift it this way. I don't know. What do you guys think? Kind of like that? I think like that works. Okay, I'm happy with that. Normally I can pull those dimensionals up pretty easily, but not so much today. That's okay. A little bit more of the mono liquid glue, and I'm going to pop that flower right here. Love it, you guys. What do you think so far? Is this pretty awesome? Are you guys loving the cactus? What is your favorite cactus? Do you guys like more, I don't know if that's considered the saguaro cactus. If you guys know the names of these cacti, please tell me because I have no clue. I was thinking a barrel cactus, but I don't think that's that. This almost reminds me of a prickly pear. So for all of you desert people who are in Arizona and California and all these other desert places, tell me what are the names of these cacti if you know. Okay, I'm going to close up my Calypso Coral and grab the Highland Heather. And I hope if you guys are crafting along, please, please send me an email if you would like your card to be featured. I'm so excited for you guys. I've been sending out emails when we were doing our mystery stamping event, and I loved getting to see your guys' cards each week. So if you want your card included in a highlights reel, be sure to email me at crazymomcraftsalot@gmail.com. And in the subject line, put create with me #1. That's what we're on today. Okay, so what I was looking for is this sentiment here. It's the I love how our friendship has grown sentiment. And if you guys decide to come to my January 9th catalog kickoff party, I'm going to show you guys something that I did with this stamp set here. I chopped it up so we could use it in a couple of other ways. So I'm really excited to show you guys how you can chop your stamps up if you get brave enough to do so. And that way you can use them in more ways. Again, I am totally going to use my die cutting plate right here because it's available to me. And in a stamp room with about 8 million blocks, clear blocks, I don't happen to have one in front of me. So I'm going to ink this up. I'm going to line it up where I want it to go. And I think right about there works for me. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp down, straight up. And there we have our super cute sentiment. Hopefully the camera is focusing in well enough. You guys need to give me a shout out. Let me know. Is it working? Can you see? Is it clear? But there we go for I love how our friendship has grown. The one last thing I thought I would share with you guys today, and I don't know that I'll do this each week, but I certainly wanted to take a moment today to share with you how you can dress up your envelopes a little bit. So we have these two super cute cards here. Oh, love it. And what I did was, look, how many of us are paper hoarders? Honestly, some of us have enough paper that we could craft until it's, 2099. Seriously. So I am really working hard to let myself use my paper. What good is it going to do if it's in the house? Piled up in the studio, under the bed, in the closet, in the garage. That does no good. That does nobody good. So I'm working really hard to use my paper up. And part of the way I'm doing that is by adding designer series paper to all of my card envelopes. And honestly, look how cute that is, you guys. What a beautiful card set to give to somebody. So to do that, what I do now is when I get my 12 by 12 paper, I pre-cut it down so that I have at least one strip that is 2¼ inches, a little bit past 2¼ So I call it 2¼ strong. Okay. So just a hair past 2¼ And then I just chop my 12 by 12 paper or 6 by paper. So 2¼ by either 6 or 2¼ by 12. And then I cut it in half again. So you would end up with, two 2¼ by 6-inch pieces. Okay. Does that make sense? I hope I'm not confusing you guys thoroughly. What I do next is I take a little bit of liquid glue and a thin bead, a little bead of glue, you guys, because if you do too much, what'll happen is it'll seep through to the adhesive for the envelope under the glue under the envelope, and it will activate it. And then you will have a card envelope that is sealed shut. Ask me how I know. So just a real thin bead is all you need. And then I like to sit and make a whole bunch of these up, especially like if I get a new pack of paper in. And then when I'm not maybe in necessarily like a craft mood or kind of having a tough day creating, But I may be sitting and watching TV, or I'm watching the kids play, or something like that. So I have a little bit of time to craft. Then what I do is I just will sit and chop these up. It literally takes a couple seconds to do. You can join me if you want. A couple seconds to chop these up, and then you have a super cute coordinating card and envelope set. There you go. There you have it. Well, what do you guys think? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you guys learned a couple things. One, don't throw your sponge daubers all over the floor, because that's going to be a project to clean them up. Two, if you're in short hand of a clear block, you can use your die plate for a stamping block. That worked well too. And three, you guys learned how to add some dimension and shading to your dies. And it really, really does. I hope you guys can get a decent look of that. It really does change the look of your dies there. See if I can get any better lighting. Oh, there we go. Oh, I hope you guys can see that. So again, thank you so much for joining me today. And please, 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 we want to see what you created. Thanks for the comments. For those of you on Facebook joining me, I'm so glad. I'm so glad you got to join in today. Be sure and send me pictures of your cards, guys. I want to see what you're making. And if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me in the chat or comment section, and I will be more than happy to answer any questions that I can. I can't wait to see you guys next week. If you have not subscribed to my newsletter, be sure to go in and subscribe. And yep, we will see you guys in another Create With Me live video next week. I also will have another Create With Me live event tonight at 6 p.m. on YouTube. It will be the same card, but that way, if you have family or friends who could not attend today at 2 o'clock, they will get another chance to tonight at 6. All right. Have a great crafty day, guys. Bye.